Hello YouTube, it is Saturday the 14th of March and it's not been a bad day. I think it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, +1. These are the field beans. These are going to come out this weekend. They're just starting to show signs of starting to produce flowers, which is what I don't want to do. And the ones over on this side, you can see they're a bit taller and probably a bit better looking. They both look okay, both beds, but this one here, they're planted in farmyard manure, and this one here, they're not quite so tall and probably not quite as bushy. These are planted in mushroom compost. I don't think I'll be using mushroom compost again around the garden. It doesn't quite suit my needs. And if you just look around, you can see the difference. The last lot I had was full of wood chip. In fact, way too much wood chip for me. So I shan't be using this again. The first lot I had wasn't like that at all. But you can see where the mushroom compost is and where the farmyard manure is, and I'll definitely be using the farmyard manure in the future. I have just been sowing my spring broad beans down there. They'll have a cloche over the top of them. I did put these cloches on about 10 days ago to try and warm the soil up. It's still cold down here. It's a real frost pocket down where I am, and we do get frost late into May, and I've even had my French beans scorched the first week in June down here. So it does get quite cold down here. I've also put in a row of peas there. They're my saved seed. Green Hurst shaft. They're not the biggest of seed, but I'm going to try and save it a bit different this year. What we do is we pick all our peas and then we leave them at the end. Well, each time you pick the next flush of peas, they're always smaller. So I'm going to save some, maybe a quarter of a row, and use the first flush of peas and let them go to seed and see if that makes any difference. But there's 100 peas there in that row, and I'll be sowing 3 rows of peas, but not all today, just that 1 row for now. Yeah, it'll be 3 rows of peas, and I have got some other peas that I want to sow just for seed, another variety, but I'll show you them at a different date. Broad beans for harvesting. They are coming into flower nicely then. They all look well. They've had no protection all winter. Sown October, November, and as you can see, quite a few flowers on them, and there are a few bees flying. I find it's mostly the bumblebees that pollinate these, and I have seen 1 or 2 queens of those flying about, but they all look very well. These field beans, as you know, it's the nitrogen on the roots that I want. But all over the winter we've been feeding on the tops, and we haven't had any off that far bed because we couldn't keep up with these. And I pulled the root out there. What I shall do is put my hand around them like that and just pull them straight out and bring the root out. And as you can see, I've left most of the nodules in there. There are a couple of those. These are the nodules that hold the nitrogen, and when they go into flower, that nitrogen is used up. So you want to use your beans. I'll bring you back after the hens have stopped. A bit of corn always does the trick. Pulled this morning, so it's gone a bit limp, but it'll leave those nodules in the ground, and those nodules are the ones that carry the nitrogen, which should feed me rascas. And you can see that they're good plants. I did pull this morning, so it's gone limp, but that's got 2, 4, 5, 6 stems on it, and the majority of them are like that. So we've had the feed, we've had the nitrogen, and then all these will go on the compost. These are the beans that the farmers grow in the field. I think their variety is Wizard. They're called a field bean, and they're produced solely for the protein that goes back into animal feed. There isn't too much going on in the plot. I haven't sown anything else out here. These peas and beans will be the first thing that I've sown, and even in the polytunnel, about 3 weeks ago I planted some radish and some rhubarb chard, and it hasn't even come up. The temperatures in the polytunnel quite surprised me at night. There isn't any heat saved in there, and it's not much different to the nighttime temperatures that are outside. So obviously growing in the greenhouse first and bringing them on and planting them out will be the best way for me to go, but like I say, polytunnel, it's a learning curve for me. And just before I go, this is that self-set sweet pea that came up in the back end in about October, and I said I would leave it. So that's had the frost and all the weather on it. The birds haven't bothered it, and as you can see, it's just one plant. That's looking as good as the ones that I've got in the polytunnel that I sowed in the greenhouse. So I might try a row of those next year in the back end, out in the garden, and see how they get on during the winter, because that looks a good, strong, healthy plant, that does. And there's even some shoots coming on the bottom of it as well. Hope you're all keeping well. End of March, beginning of April, and well, all of April, it's going to be a busy month. I have managed to hold back on my sowing this year, and I think I'll be better off for it. Many thanks for watching. Give the thumbs up and please subscribe. Take good care, everybody. Bye bye.